All it fails, the dash is already pretty broken. How much worse can it get? Hey guys, Rob here at Dixie Restoration. We're getting started on our next tech project, which is the 79 Malibu. As you can see, the dashboard definitely needs an update. It's blue where everything else is black, and it's hurting. We're going to do this in 3 sections. The first will cover dashboard removal. Then we're going to go over installing a cover on your cracked dashboard. And then lastly, we'll detail dashboard reinstallation. The first part is dropping the steering column. There's 2 15mm nuts. You don't have to remove them all away, just loosen them. Next is gauge cluster removal. We have another video for gauge cluster removal that's a step-by-step. A lot of this will get fast-forwarded. On these rectangle speedometer cars, you have 3 screws at the top, 2 in the middle, and 4 on the bottom. At this point, I want to include, you do not need to remove the steering wheel. This was done for video purposes. Don't waste your time. Also, the light switch bracket in these cars is very delicate. New ones are coming out. We're going to make a steel reproduction just like we do for the later cars. They're going to run right around 1995, and we hope they're available by the time this video comes out. Right here, I just want to point out, there's 4 nuts that hold the gauge cluster to the dash. There's essentially 1 in each corner. Here's where I point them out. And always remember, you've got to disconnect the speedometer cable from the back of the speedometer. You can reach down from the bottom, or you can reach through the fairly large hole on the left side. Now that we're set up on the passenger side of the car, we're going to remove the glove box door. Then we're going to remove the radio plate. And then that center vent's going to get out of the way. You probably noticed my glove box has a screw in it. That's nowhere near factory. Back in the spring, this car had a mishap, and it broke the glove box latch. While the dash was out, we're going to fix all that. We're also going to clean up this GM wiring from 30 years ago. Now it's time for the radio plate to get out of the way. And just like that, the wiring is just going to get ripped out, and we'll fix it later. Now it's time to go over the bolt locations for the dashboard. There's 3 on the bottom. You have 1 here, and another one here, and another one here. All right, I've pre-loosened a lot of these. Make this a little quicker. My own mother doesn't want to watch me unbolt the dash for 10 minutes. Keep track of the bolts you remove, as different bolts may go in different places for spacers, ground wires, that sort of deal. There's 4 screws at the top of the dashboard that need to be removed, a long Phillips, or a 7mm with an extension. Things that we will go over once the dashboard is out. A couple of screws that you just can't see from this angle. But this is where the important part is. This bracket here sandwiches between this lower bracket and the upper mount. This bracket, you have to get started before you pull the rest of the dash. Usually from down here, you can give them a good tug and they'll start coming out. If you have an extra set of hands, definitely makes things a little bit easier here. I currently don't, so we're just going to try this and see how it works. All else fails, the dash is already pretty broken. How much worse can it get? Up. And I just realized that speaker's not disconnected. And your dash is out. Now you can go behind it and unclip any of the wiring harness that's still there. As you can see, most of the stuff on this one is pretty beat up. All right, now that the dash is out of the car, we'll go over some of the hard to see and pretty hard to reach areas. First is this area here. This is above the emergency brake pedal. This is where your convenience center is bolted to. These bolts kind of stink to get to. I won't sugarcoat that for you. You're gonna need a 7mm and an extension or two. Next, you've got a few wiring clips that are back here for where your harness bolts to. Those are usually easiest to access when the dash is pretty much halfway out of the car. And you'll notice I have a speaker in the center. This is the mono speaker option on the 78 to 80 cars. You really don't see this much after 81, if at all. And then here are your three places that it mounts: your middle, your passenger side, and on the driver's side bolt. Those are the three 10mm that are underneath of it. As always, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments, or you're always welcome to give us a call. 877-24-DIXIE.